Please welcome the President of the State Senate, Mitch Carmichael, Republican, Jackson County. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning, Hoppy. And how appropriate on AARP Day is it for you to have a birthday?
Well, yes. And I'm taking early retirement at the end of the day. Rule of 80, I'm done. I'm retired.
All right.
I'm not really. But, Mitch, we got just a minute before the break, and we'll hold you over through the break. But give me that first-minute reaction to the governor proposing an alternative yesterday.
Well, listen, I was very pleased that he proposed an alternative. It's obvious that, and we've been working with the governor. We've brought forth some ideas, and I think he recognizes that maybe his first stab at this wasn't the proper direction. So he modified his plan, which is a credit to him. I mean, as you walk through this process and understand that maybe your first proposal wasn't the ideal or the best solution, that you're willing to change. And I hope he continues with that attitude. We have what we believe are some wonderful ideas that we want to present to him and have him embrace those and bring them forth and modify his plans again. I welcome that.
Did you get a sense that just this was about the governor giving you something else to chew on, or that he's willing, he's open to compromise on some of these things?
I think he's absolutely open to I think any good, high-minded public servant should be open to compromise on this. And he recognizes, Hoppy, that the original plan with the heavy, heavy taxes on specific industries. Well, for instance, on the cat tax or the gross receipts tax. I mean, that was just a wrong approach.
It's still there. It's just much, much smaller. Okay, stand by. We want to hit the break. We'll come back with you. Senate President Mitch Carmichael is with us. We'll talk more about this alternative plan proposed by the budget and when the Republicans will have their alternative to the alternative. Carmichael. Senator, so give me a way forward. I know that you guys are getting tired of hearing about this because we ask it 5 times a day. Where's your budget? Where's your budget? Where's your budget? And then the initial response is, wait a minute, the budget's never done till the end of the session anyway. And then we respond, yes, but this year is different. This year is different because it is the big story. It's tied into the economy. We have a budget crisis. And the governor came out with his proposal and an alternative. And therefore, there is, I believe, a responsibility on the part of the majority to come back and go, okay, here's our plan. You don't have to have all the bills ready, but at least come back with it, say, okay, here's our plan, and we can compare the two, and we can hash this thing out. Are you with me?
I'm totally with you on that. Our plan is absolutely to deliver a budget in record time. And that's why I really do want to emphasize that for the people of West Virginia. We're here 60 days. I mean, by the Constitution of West Virginia, we're here 60 days.
But we don't want you here 80 or 90.
Well, and we will not be here. I'm absolutely committed to that. This is a new legislature. We will deliver this budget before the end of the session, and frankly, weeks and weeks before the end of the session. And what I would say about our plan is the governor keeps, frankly, throwing plans that we're not going to do. We're not going to just keep throwing plans on the wall, say you like this, when you like this, when you like this. We're going to put forth a thoughtful plan in consultation with the governor that brings forth a budget that's good for the state of West Virginia.
But he did. I mean, he has proposed alternatives and said, here's some. Okay, if you don't like this, then what about this? And so, don't you have to give him props for saying, here's some different ideas? What are your ideas?
Absolutely.
And I know you guys are going to say, we're meeting, we're talking about it, and I understand there's high-level discussions going on. So I'm saying to you, next week, next Thursday's the midway point. That by the midway point, why don't you guys have a press conference or come on this show or get up on the floor and say, and have consensus and say, here's our framework.
Absolutely.
Have your own whiteboard, for goodness sake, like the governor.
I'd be glad to do a whiteboard or a press conference or whatever. We have a structure in place that will deliver a budget to the people of West Virginia, and it may not be exactly what the governor wants or proposes or whichever iteration that he's proposing. We will have a thoughtful plan that delivers a thoughtful, responsible budget to the people of West Virginia. And Hoppy, frankly, the bills that are incumbent upon the governor to introduce to support the budget that he proposed, the most recent iteration of it, we don't even have the bills.
Yeah, they're just starting to come in. And like the DMV fees things are coming in today. And I know that. But Mitch, that's quite frankly a little bit
right?
That's detailed, that's technical. I mean, we know what the plans are.
Okay.
All right, so let me ask you this. And Senate President Mitch Carmichael's with it. And you've had, again, you've met, you've gotten together. It's a little harder than people think, but you and your finance chair have gotten together with the House Speaker and the finance chair, right?
Right.
You sat down and said, okay.
Absolutely.
All right, so let me ask you this, without disclosing any secrets here. Are any tax increases on the table?
Certainly, there is a broad approach to this budgeting process. We recognize that there are, we're $350 or $400 million out of balance from the budget that he proposed. So we're not taking anything off the table. What our first impulse, though, is to right-size this government and to
what numbers are coming up when you talk about cuts?
Well, we're in the range of, I don't know, 2 to 250, something like that. Yes.
Okay, and you can get consensus from both sides, from the majorities parties of the House and Senate, to make those kinds of cuts.
Well, we believe we will. We're trying to get there, and the governor will be, more difficult to work with in those cuts areas, and he would rather tax the people of West Virginia.
Mm-hmm. The gas tax, and clearly the governor heard that people did not like the 10 cent a gallon tax increase. He's come back with 4.5 cents. And the House, the view of the House majority appears to be, okay, we can be in on this road deal, but we want to take it out to the people in a bond and let people know what it is and let people vote first. The governor says everything, his economic growth plan is hinging on these 48,000 jobs with all this road construction. He wants to do it. He doesn't want to wait. He wants to do it. Are you with him on doing that, or you want to go and have an election?
Well, you can't do it the way he wants to do it. The Constitution requires the people to vote if we're going to put ourselves in debt. And so we will have to have that vote. Well, I want to have that vote. The people should have the option of whether or not they want to tax themselves to borrow money, which is frankly one of the reasons Moody's downgraded us the other day, was the governor's proposal about indebting the people of West Virginia another almost $2 billion.
Would you vote for it? I mean, if there was a come to election, I mean, do you want to have that? Do you buy into when the governor says, this is my jobs plan, 48,000 jobs, build all these roads, raise DMV fees, raise the gas tax, do the toll thing? Are you in on that?
No, I'm not 100%
You're not.
on it. I think the people of West Virginia should weigh in on this. I'm frankly very willing to put that to the vote. I will vote here in the state Senate. I'll advance the bill that puts that before the voters of West Virginia. I think that our taxes are already very high in West Virginia. I mean, we're already the 11th or 12th highest taxed gas tax in the nation. So we have some issues with that as regards to cross-border purchasing and so forth. But we can work our way through this. Our roads are in terrible condition. I agree. We need to increase some DMV fees and do some other things in that regard. But the people deserve.
The gas tax makes perfect sense. People who use the roads pay for them.
Well, I agree, but should our roads be more expensive than any other roads in our surrounding states? Our tax is higher than the other states. So we have to be aware of that, and people have a right to, weigh in on that. This whole discussion, though, needs to take a turn. We will deliver this year's budget in record time. We will. That's a given. We will do that. And we'll fix it with the revenue that we have in place. We may have to add a little. We'll make some cuts. We'll deliver that budget.
There won't be a teacher pay raise in there, will there?
I mean, it's difficult to give anybody a pay raise in this environment, and certainly give one class of people a pay raise and others not. But what I would say, we need to turn the direction of this conversation toward what incents growth and opportunity in our state. It is a new tax structure. It is a method of taxing our citizens that doesn't go through this boom-bust cycle. We have a plan in place that we're advancing in the Senate, Senate Bill 335, that fundamentally changes this conversation. So every year we're not coming in here, oh my God, when are you going to get a budget? Who's going to get cut? We need to change it in a manner that there is growth and jobs in this state.
So you guys, again, are on the Senate at least, are married to the idea of significantly revamping the tax code, of getting rid of the personal income tax, getting rid of corporate net or phasing out corporate net, getting rid of consumer sales and replacing it all with a consumption tax that would go up to 8%.
Well, I mean, when you say married to it and doing it all at one step, we're not taking a ideological approach to this. What we've done is look at the economists' statements that they've made. A move towards a consumption tax incents growth and opportunity. And Hoppy, we're going to be back here every year cutting this budget and dealing with these budget issues if we don't change the tax structure in West Virginia. And so it's incumbent upon us. It's our responsibility to change this direction of our state. And the governor said he's on board with this. He's maybe a little reticent about doing it quickly. We want to do bold, aggressive things.
How would you do it? Would you do it so it starts in 2018, and would you phase it in, fiscal year 2018, would you phase it in? Would it all be in at once? I mean, how would you do it exactly?
Certainly, yes, we phase it in. The pieces that we can do now, we'd love to get them in place because I don't think we have time to wait. I mean, this state is in decline. Why would anybody want to wait to initiate prosperity and opportunity in our state? If this can be proven and validated that it works in other states, economists embrace it, why wouldn't we do it? Why wouldn't we come in here next year and say, that was a monumental turn for our state?
Then where is and you talk about it when you come on this show, and other Republican senators do. Where's the big pitch? I mean, when is somebody going to make that pitch on the Senate floor? You said there's a bill. Has a bill been introduced?
Yeah, absolutely. The bill's been introduced. It's referred to the Select Committee on Tax Reform.
Okay, they're working on it.
They're working on it. We've already had several wonderful speeches from the floor on the merits of a new tax system in West Virginia. I mean, who can deny that we're sitting here saying, oh my God, how are we going to get a budget? What tax are we going to raise? What are we going to do? Who can deny we need a new tax system in West Virginia? I mean, it's beyond the pale to me to think that we're going to come back in this current tax structure we have and every year figure out who gets cut and what happens next. Why wouldn't we want to change this?
All right. Senate.
Are you on board?
Sure, I'm on board. I do. I mean, I haven't done all the research, but I fundamentally like the concept that you're trying to do something different and something that would energize growth. I candidly have not done the research, but I've been fixated on just the budget and saying that it is incumbent upon you all, and I know that normally it's not done till the end, but this is different. This year is different. Incumbent upon you all to come forward and say, we've heard the governor, his proposals, here's ours, and here's why.
Listen, I am 100%
and spend the next 30 days sorting it out.
Absolutely. We are going to do that. We are almost there now. We'll put forth a thoughtful plan that is the Republican alternative to the governor. I want to embrace many of the components that he has in here. I mean, I'm all on board with those things. The point is to change, though, to do a new direction in West Virginia that points us in a path of growth. And, on your birthday, I think it would be an opportunity for you. For you to embrace this new gift to the people of West Virginia.
Senate President Mitch Carmichael. Mitch, thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
All right, man.